It just shows
Ooh,
you have
Annabelle,
completely
what
different.
if there was a movie about you called Cat Lady, but you actually turned into a cat? Like Teen Wolf, but Cat Lady. And then you realize you're turning into a cat, and then you become the most popular person in Aiken, Georgia. And you would think people would turn against you, but they're even like, we need the cat. We want the pussy.
I I would be the most popular person in Aiken, Georgia, because Aiken, Georgia doesn't exist. That's not where I live. But Ryan knows this. He literally says I live in a different state of with Aiken. I'll have like he
What?
anyway,
Are you having a stroke?
uh no, I was just saying that like one of the baddies like comes in and we like talk in the store that I work at. One of
Oh,
the like
really?
one of your yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like friendly. And I got like one of my managers was like, you talked to this girl for like an hour. And I'm like, yeah, but about important things. And they're like, we
By
just
the
want
way,
to like, were you talking about like housewives? And I'm like,
there's
but yeah, that's very
there's an
important.
80% chance this is an imaginary friend Annabelle's talking about. Annabelle is just like in a corner going like, oh my God, I miss Lisa Rinna. I wish she was back on the show. No, okay. Really back to the movie though. I do want to say real quick, there is
I just
dialogue with
want to
it.
point out Brenley Langston. I would love it if you messaged Ryan for proof. Next time she comes in, I
Please.
feel like it's kind of like I feel like I'm going to be doing like very performative. Like, look, I have a baddie friend. Look at me. I'm taking a picture. I have a baddie friend. I'm just saying, I do have. She is a real
Okay.
person.
I want to go back to talking about the dad really quick because the dialogue when he comes down the next morning, he's like freaking out. He's like, oh, what am I going to like chase cars and bite the mailman? And the dad goes, Scott, when you want it, you're going to have great power. And with great power goes a greater responsibility. Your mom and I learned to live with it. And Scott goes, and what if I can't? I can look forward to stealing babies in the middle of the night and killing chickens, fearing full moons, dodging silver bullets. Well, no, thank you. And he goes, don't believe all that stuff, Scott. With certain obvious exceptions, werewolves are people like anyone else. What I'm trying to say is the werewolf is a part of you, but that doesn't change the inside. And he goes, look, Dad, I've got a bad outside hook shot. I'm allergic to eggs. I got a $6 haircut. I mean, I have problems. I don't need this one. I got to get to school. And then the dad's like, that went well. So then we have that
I didn't
scene
know
with,
that you could be allergic to eggs. Like that was like
it was a thing in the 80s. It was like a big
really.
epidemic. No, I don't think so.
Well, no, it's just like you know how like those people had like Tylenol poisoning or whatever. Like, I mean, there were like only 8 of them who died, from. But like, there's like weird stuff that happened in like the 80s and 90s. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, there were people like who died, and that's why they started putting like those like cotton things in like medicine, like the safety seals or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just trying. Listen, I'm just trying to give
Listen,
a reading rainbow. The more like, the
the
more
more
you
you know.
know
Yeah.
moment.
Well, let's back to the movie. I also want to point out the assistant principal hates Scott. The assistant principal hates Scott, and it's because it turns out the dad went to school with the assistant principal, and the assistant principal had a crush on Scott's mom, who is dead. They never tell us how she died, but she's dead. So it's like he's a single father, and the
Or she
assistant
just
principal is
abandoned them.
no, she's dead. She's like, we miss your mom. The assistant principal is like, I've got my eye on you, Scott, and Scott's like freaked out about always like being watched by this assistant principal. And we finally get to the first basketball game. And it is, there's another scene with Boof. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. I'm
Boo!
just going through the script right now. So Scott comes in and they start playing basketball. And it's just like a normal basketball game. They're losing. They haven't won a game like in 3 years or 30 years or something crazy like that. And then Scott, as normal human Scott, gets piled on. And all of a sudden you hear a roar. He's like, "Argh," and he pops out and he's the werewolf. He's Teen Wolf. He's werewolf. And everybody's like, what? Everybody's like, oh my God. And Michael J. Fox is just dribbling the ball as the werewolf looking around and they're all looking at him. And then he goes, ah, and he runs with the ball and he does a fucking slam dunk. And everybody's like, Yeah, woo! And then it's like totally normal. Then it's like, woo! We don't even question it from that moment on. It's like, and the coach is even like, all right, let's play some ball
Yeah,
here.
the hot basketball coach.
Oh, the
Yay.
hot basketball coach. They're like, let's play some ball. And they win their first game, you guys. Like, they win their first game. It's insane. It's like, and all of a sudden, the girl, the blonde girl, the actor, the theater actor, she's there and she's like, whoa, like she's like a bad seed, but she sees that he's like somebody different. And so all of a sudden, she's now into Scott. And they win the game and they immediately go to the pizza parlor and she's like right next to him. They're carrying him on their shoulders. Like they get him a full pizza. He's like fully werewolf, and nobody's questioning it at all, isn't it? It's just they're
The thing
just
is,
celebrating.
they love it. Like they love it. Like they are celebrating. Like he is like the like most gorgeous, like stereotypical, like hot, like basketball player, like in high school. Like nobody's like, hey, like what is happening? Is there a full moon tonight? Like nothing of like, is he going to bite us? Like nothing at all. Like there are no questions, there are no follow-up questions. Everybody is just like fully supporting it. And like I love that everybody in this like town is very much like say yes to life attitude. But like wouldn't you be like, if you were watching this basketball game and this happened, like wouldn't you be like, everything I know is a lie, there is no God, what is happening? Oh my, like what is
also
like,
just imagine you'd see this it'd be on TikTok immediately. People would be making videos. I mean, this would be on like Inside Edition, but like also
oh my God, is Inside Edition still on? Do you remember like the like openings, how like unhinged they were? And they'd
be like, a man ate a man ate an 8-foot snake and
like this 600-pound man and a squirrel riding in a like one was like, it went from like something really, really sad to and a squirrel riding a little boat, and it was like the squirrel in like in a pool riding
and and a naked lady has 100 animals and so also the basketball team, when he's the werewolf, like it's like they all of a sudden become the Harlem Globetrotters. They're like do like he's doing tricks. He's like all of a sudden like it's not just straight basketball. He's like doing tricks. He's like spinning the ball. He's flipping it around.
Yeah,
he's kind of like
he's doing a performance. Like
it's like he's a showman.
Like he really gives it to him. And everybody else like on the basketball team is like very into it, like chubby, like
at first they're into it because they've never won.
So that at first they were like really like riding high on it, and all I could think of like with the like hot popular girl who he's in love with,
Pamela,
who he really has, the one who he actually has chemistry with, who doesn't make me sad. Pam, she looks just like character like Meredith Blake. Do you remember from The Parent Trap? Like the blonde, like the That's exactly like who she looks like. Like a young like high school version of her.
She's very pretty. She's very pretty, but she's like a snotty theater kid. And that's the other thing. Theater kids usually
is not how theater kids are.
Yeah, exactly. There's like theater kids aren't
and weird.
Yeah, theater kids aren't popular, so the fact that they have the popular girl be an actor is like kind of weird, but the whole movie's kind of weird.
Yeah. Also, the theater kids are at like a pizza parlor is like after a performance of like Guys and Dolls, like at 11 p.m. They're like, "Well, let's go." I mean,
oh my God,
it was Denny's,
yes, ours was Denny's too. And I thought it was so cool to be there with the theater kids at Denny's, and we used to be like throwing the silverware at each other. And now looking back, I just really I feel so bad for those waiters and waitresses.
And they're like, "Oh, these fucking losers again."
Oh yeah, because all I could afford was like the Denny's chili cheese fries. Like if I was lucky, and like ultimate like unlimited waters, and it was like
you're like, keep the waters coming. I'm a big spender.
Hey, there's a quarter in it for you if you need some water. So the other person that doesn't really seem to care that Michael J. Fox is a werewolf when he turns into the wolf at the basketball game, everybody cares except for Boof. Boof is kind of like, whatever. Like the time Scott actually has something cool about him, Boof doesn't care. Because Boof, like if we're going with Annabelle's theory, Boof, like, oh, that's going to make her not get Scott even more now that he's cool.
It's just, there is nothing that he could turn into that would she would be like, no, I think that's a deal breaker. She could turn into the fucking like 3-headed dog that like was supposed to like like guard the gates of hell. And she'd be like, all right, 3 more, faces for me to like force kiss when he doesn't want it. Like there's nothing that like that kid could do that would be a turnoff for her. Like she's just so in it.
Well, no,
and
but
it's
Annabelle,
so
but I'm saying when she sees him as the wolf, she doesn't like it. He
because
doesn't
it's
seem
like
to have a reaction.
she like can't handle. She's so jealous of the attention he's getting.
Yeah.
And it's so insecure. It's so sad. She doesn't even want to buy any of his merch. Like,
Yeah, because Styles makes a bunch of Teen Wolf merch, like Teen Wolf, which by the way it looks like a really. I would have bought the hell out of this merch. Like the Teen Wolf merch was awesome.
I was gonna say he had bumper stickers. He had like variations of like shirts. Like the design was great. I'm like, he went to Vistaprint, and like I don't know how quickly he like the turnaround on this, but he got great, really great swag. And she doesn't even want to buy any of it. He gives her a free T-shirt, and she does a very passive like mean girl where she's just like, "Oh, Pamela, you can take this. It's way too big for me." And I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
you.
no, it's not. But like it's like my dad who we got him RJ's like my dad is like a very like large man. He has like a very like Tony Soprano body, and
large-hearted.
We got him we got him a vest for Christmas that he's very
like one of those leather vests that John Popper would wear from Blues Traveler with the
harmonicas. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't matter what I say.
Oh, see, I don't know the deep cuts of Blues Traveler. I only know like the
that was a hit.
Run around, like I only know the run around.
Run. Anyways, so they're at school the next.
Anyway, sorry. We gave him an extra large vest, and he's like, "Oh, well, I love it, but there's no way this is going to fit me. You got me an extra large." And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're going to have to return it. There's no way this is going to fit me." And we're like, "Well, why don't you just like try it on?" And he like barely. It was like Chris Farley and like fat guy in a little coat like type where he's like, It's just weird that it must be.
I think he probably looked badass.
Like the thing is, I long for RJ's like positive body dysphoria. Like just like he.
You're saying? So oh God, I got it. Yeah, no, I always think I'm like 800 pounds. Like I always think it's like my 800-pound life. Like I'm always like, oh yeah, I've always been that way, body dysmorphia. But then sometimes I'm like, no, I've seen pictures. I'm like, no, that actually is what I think I look like. That is it.
No, I'm saying the opposite. RJ doesn't think he's like a large person.
No, but what I'm saying is that I do have body dysmorphia sometimes. And I've thought I was way larger than I am. But then sometimes when I do see myself, I'm like in pictures, I'm like, oh, I am as big as I thought I was.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to explain.
Does not have that. RJ does not have that like self-realization. He just thought when this thing fit, he's like, this must be labeled wrong. There's no way I fit into an extra large.
Back to somebody that has a healthy self-esteem now, just like RJ. Michael J. Fox goes to school the next day after winning the basketball game as Teen Wolf, and he's fully Teen Wolf. But now he's like a local celebrity. He's walking down the hall as the wolf. He has sunglasses on. He has a Walkman, and like everybody's high-fiving him. And I will say it's funny. Like he's like walking down the hall, everybody's high-fiving him, and then he sees like a break dancer. It's like, there's a break dancer in the school, and Michael J. Fox is like, yeah, and he's like high fives him. The one black
character you see in this entire movie.
Yes, the one black character is a break dancer.
And I'm like, why is he not on the basketball team? Recruit this guy. He's very athletic.
And Michael J. Fox like
takes Michael J. Fox.
But Michael J. Fox like sees the breakdance and he's like starts breakdancing with them, and the guy's like, all right, you. But everybody's just like loving him. The school newspaper gets delivered and it says, can the team make it 2 in a row? And it's a pic of Scott as the werewolf. Scott is already taking glamour shots as the werewolf, and they put it in the school paper. And the school paper isn't like, what the fuck? We have a werewolf here at the school. The school paper is like, can the team win 2 in a row? Nothing to do with, we have a fucking werewolf at the school.
Or was that just a movie thing?
No, we had a school paper. Yeah, no, I worked on it.
Oh.
Remember Brandon from
the advice column? Oh my God, I would love it if it was like ask dear Ryan instead of like dear Abby. Like
yeah, I was like,
were they like, dear Ryan, this is the Denny's wait staff. Please stop coming.
Every advice just starts with give up. Just give up. Just don't even. It's not going to work out for you. So the team seems to be more concerned. I mean, the paper is like, oh, can they win 2 in a row? Nobody seems to care. Everybody's just super hyped that there's a werewolf there. And Lewis Styles has like this little lackey friend named Lewis. Now,
Oh,
Lewis is one of the only other people that is scared of Scott. He's like, "What's up, Lewis?" And Lewis is like, "Hey."
because they
Lewis is
used to
kind of
be
scared
like
of Scott.
good friends. Like they used to like when they went out at the beginning of the movie when they brought him. They're like, okay, you need to go in and ask for the keg of beer, which I I'm sad that you forgot Styles' like brilliant idea. He's like, here's a fake gun, and you're gonna put it in your jacket, and you're gonna pretend like you're robbing him, but you're gonna pay him, so you're not robbing him, so we're not
Yeah.
doing anything wrong, which I liked. I was very like Styles is by far and away the best character. Boof and fucking Lewis should have ended up together because Lewis, like throughout the movie, like once he turns into a werewolf, he is like he is not interested. Scott, he's very turned off, and he just becomes like so like meek, and he's like next to Styles, who's like tall and cool, and then there's like little like Lewis, and Michael J. Fox tries to say hi to him, and he's like, it's like Penn and Teller. You have like cool Styles, and then you just have like this little like person next to him who like won't speak, and it's just
Guys,
like,
look, guys, Lewis has like 4 lines in the movie. The fact that Annabelle has
eh,
this much to say about Lewis is wild, but I mean, it's great. It's like, but we're now back to the next game, and you guys, this has re-energized the whole town. It is sold out. The game is sold out. The cheerleaders are now doing a special wolf dance. They're like doing like a wolf dance, and like, they win that game. He leaves. Kids are wanting autographs from him. Like, it's a whole thing. And now it's like kind of a montage of games. And now we see it's winning, but we see like Chubbs has the ball and Michael J. Fox steals it from his own teammate. And so now we see that it's like all of a sudden, like, listen, it's not a team anymore. It's just the werewolf show. It's Scott the werewolf show. And the other teammates are kind of like, do we even have to do anything? Like, is there even a point? You know?
I know they're such fucking pusswads about it. It's like you were useless before on the court and you guys lost, and now you guys are finally like winning and people are coming to see you, and you're just like, why aren't I getting the ball? You got the ball all preseason and you did absolutely nothing with it. So
But
it's like
Annabelle, don't.
I just had no idea. I did not realize like the biggest like side effect of becoming a werewolf, like nothing ever like you never see him like eating like an entire fucking thing of like fried chicken himself. Like he's never like doing all these like he's never like lifting his leg to pee at the urinal. Like he's not ever doing like dog stuff or like eating like a lot. The side effect of becoming a werewolf is he is a selfish basketball player. That is the worst thing he does as a that's all he does as a werewolf.
But
That's
Annabelle,
so
but it's
weird.
a parable for like, I mean, it's like kind of like for a parable for real life of like, listen, you gotta try to be a good friend. You gotta try to share the ball. You gotta try to like, that's one of the points is that, yeah, he does become selfish, and that's not a good quality.
I
You would
mean,
have rather seen him.
at the
You would have
ball.
rather seen him like Jacob. By the way, thank God this isn't like Twilight, because Michael J. Fox would have imprinted on some 3-year-old, and the movie would have
I was
taken a
going to say, and
drastic,
Boof would have
creepy
fucking
turn.
killed the 3-year-old. That's the one we have to worry about stealing a baby in the middle of the night. Because when she saw like Renesmee and she's like, he's interested in that little bitch, absolutely not. So she would have taken him and been like, skank, get out of here. I've been working this angle for 8 years. You think you're just going to step in? No, out of my way. No, she needs to be with Lewis, the other fucking loser.
Oh my God, the anger. Now, the other thing though is that now the basketball game's going good, but now everybody wants him. And Pamela, the actor that he has a crush on, says the theater director wants you to be a part of the school play. So we now have Scott. Like the play is some kind of like Gone with the Wind throwback. It's like a Southern thing. And Pamela's line is, "You can murder my family, you can ravage my body, but I beg you with all that is holy, don't destroy my plantation." And then Michael J. Fox comes out in like, Southern military garb, like from the like 18, wherever the fuck year it is. He's like, "Sergeant, burn the fields. And when you're done with that, burn the house." And the director's like, "That was really something. That was really something. All right." And
He looks
Scott
like
as the
Jason
wolf.
Schwartzman, the director.
Yeah,
That's
he
all.
does. He does. But Scott's like, I love you, babe. Thanks a lot. You know, he's not a good actor as the wolf, but he has a lot of charisma. He has a lot of riz, as the kids say.
I just wish he would have been like, you can kill my family, you can ravage my body, but please don't burn my plantation because one day Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively will be married here. Please don't destroy
he
it.
goes, oh, please don't burn the plantation. Whitney from Southern Charm is going to use it because it's going to be handed down by Miss Patricia. So also the rehearsal gets over and Pamela, it's only like a 2-person play, I guess. Pamela's backstage, like, you know, doing her like post rehearsal stretches or whatever. And she's changing and Scott's like, oh my God. And Scott's back to normal. He's not the werewolf. And she takes her towel off in front of Scott and she's just in bra and panties. And she goes, we're just one big happy family in the theater.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. And she's like, we're just one. It's like,
we're just one big happy family in the theater. Relax. And then she goes, what happened to the wolf? Do you just change back and forth whenever you feel like it? And he's like, sure. Sometimes I have to get worked up to be the wolf though, but that's not too hard. And then she goes, what do you think about to get worked up? And she undoes her bra, you guys. And then he's like, whoa. And she goes, wolves aren't supposed to be shy. And he's like, Pamela, what are you doing? And she's like, are you an animal? And like, he turns into the werewolf. And then all of a sudden
she just gets on top of it and you just see them like kind of go out of the frame. Like she gets on top of them and they like,
yeah. Well, and then you hear,
I'm like, for such, it was supposed to be a sexy scene when she was like, don't worry, we're all family in the theater. I'm like, when I'm getting like sexy and undressed, you know what I don't want to think about is my family. Also, it's weird of like, we're all family. We all get sexy with each other. It's very Flowers in the Attic, which is going to be our next month's play after Gone with the Wind. For this completely, it's going to be a huge sellout. But I will say, like, I'm almost with her in, you know, Beauty and the Beast with Belle. When the Beast turns into his human form, the disappointment you see on Belle's face, he was so much hotter as the Beast. When he turns into that long-haired blonde man, absolutely no. Some men are way more attractive
as a werewolf.
And honestly, I mean, to me, obviously, I would have absolutely much rather fuck the Beast than Adam, because I don't take blonde men seriously. It's impossible. But
well, I guess on that same topic, do you ever regret shaving the mustache?
Well, I didn't get a chance to shave it. Nancy told me to nair it. You remember nair?
Yeah.
And because they had gifted me, like, I got front row NSYNC tickets and I was like, oh my God, this is my time. Like, my future husband, obviously.
Wait, you got front row NSYNC tickets and you're like, JC, I'm the one with the mustache.
Yeah,
you'll
exactly.
remember me.
And Nancy's like, oh, we got it. You got to do something about your mustache. And I'm like, no, I finally, I have my,
Lance is the only one. Lance is the only one that's like, who's that young gentleman in the front row?
And she's like, we have to do something about your mustache. And she's like, all right, we're going to put this nair on it. And obviously, like, nair spelled terrible and it burnt. And then she's like, it didn't work enough. I had that much of a Tom Selleck fucking mustache. I was giving Ryan like a run for his money. And I had such a mustache that it didn't fully work. There was still so much hair on it. And she goes, oh, we have to do it again. And I literally went, oh, Mom, it says on the bottle we're not supposed to repeat it after, you're not supposed to repeat it within like 7 days. And she's like, oh, it doesn't matter. She put it on me again and it burnt, like almost like kind of burnt a hole like through my lip where it looked like I had herpes for like a year. And I'm like, now JC's never going to want to be with me. Look at what you've done to my lip. And so I'm just saying I could have been with JC now if I did not have the fucking monstrosity.
If I was your parent, I would have made you grow it into like a Fu Manchu. With like a little thing, and then I would say, can you grow anything on the chin area and make it like look up like badass?
I was gonna say, and then I could support Chris Kirkpatrick. Chris Kirkpatrick, for a very short time, had his own clothing line called Fu Manchu.
Moving on.
I'm just trying to give you once again, the more you know, which is one of the only things I learned from Jingle All the Way. Was I did not know like the term like going postal was based on like mail workers.
Are you joking?
I didn't know. I'm like the last
You
person
didn't
to
know
know
Going Postal was about postal workers losing their shit?
No. Did
But
I
Going Postal was like the 90s version of Karen's. Like that was
Yeah,
like,
but like I didn't know because Ryan, I wasn't 25 then. I was just born. I'm not like you. I wasn't around for like I wasn't worried in the summer of Son of Sam while you were walking around being like afraid to be next to women in ponytails. Okay, so like I'm sorry that I don't have.
oh, you're such an idiot. Anyways, guys, they
I just
have
want to say,
sex.
will you please put out to the baddies? And I
No.
think that is a very normal thing that a lot of people don't know. Like, you know, when people say like going postal, you just mean it's like, you know, obviously people going like crazy and like whatever. I don't think I'm the only one who did not know that was based on actual United States postal workers being
Annabelle, what? But walk it down a few steps with me. Like, what the fuck did you think it did mean? Going postal? Like, what do you? I mean, do you think it meant like 3-day delivery?
I don't know. It just meant like going crazy, but I didn't associate that with, you know, mail workers.
Wait, mail workers still have a very hard time, so it fits still. Going postal.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm the only like I don't feel like I'm the only one like coming
Guys,
out of the
guys, if there's any other idiots out there, please email us and let us know.
I guarantee the thing is, baddies, please, like I know you all hate me, but please, in this,
Nobody hates you. Are you kidding me?
circumstance, I just truly, I feel like the majority of people do not know that's where it originated from.
Okay.
I will bet you 4 cats. I will give you 4 cats.
Yeah. Wow, that's half your fortune. Almost half your fortune. Okay, so guys, moving on. They hook up in the theater thing. Now we're at a bowling alley, and Scott says the werewolf with Pamela, and he's bowling strikes, and he's like showing Pamela how to like bowl strikes sexy as the wolf. And Mick is there, the bully from the other school that looks like he's 40 years old, according to Annabelle. And Mick's there, and he sees them, and he's pissed. And she, you know, like, and Mick comes up, and he's like, "That's my girl. Don't touch her again." And Scott's like, "Hey, she's my date tonight." And he goes, "You don't scare me, freak. Under all that hair, you're still a dork, Scott. I handled your kind before because I shot your mom in the head stealing chickens." And that's like way too far of a thing to say because we don't know how Scott's mom died. But Scott throws the ball. He's like, "Argh!" Like he loses control and he throws the ball. But like he's like, also, I'm very confused because the Mick is like, "Don't touch my girl." Like he's got your girl. He's hooking up with your girl. And then we find out that Pamela in the next scene, he's like, "You can't blame him. He's my boyfriend." And then Scott's like, "He is?" He's like, "Yeah." And then Scott's like, "What about us?" He's like, "What about us?" And she's like, "This afternoon."
It was a weird burn of like, because I was like, at first I'm like, does this guy like own a chicken coop? Like what? It's just weird, like whatever, I have your date tonight. And he's like, "Yeah, well, I shot your mom dead. I blew her head off." Like that's just a weird, like that's a hard jump.
No, it's you know, it was a trigger thing. Like he was trying to trigger Scott as the wolf, you know?
Yeah,
I don't think he literally shot Scott's mom in the head.
It's just a weird, it's a hard jump.
Yeah, but Annabelle, there's
we're going to get the star lead in that Confederate.
Annabelle, there's literally a teen that's a wolf at the school and nobody cares. That's weird too.
Well, you know what? What's also weird is Boof, and she's the weirdest part. Oh, no, I will tell you the most disgusting part of this movie. It's not the long chest hair, which once again, it's like everybody has nipple hairs. I have to shave my like. Once again, baddies again. Like I have like nipple hair all the time. Like half the time I'll look down. I'm like, but how are you? Like, I'm like, I don't see it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is a hair. It looks like Charlie Brown's like hair on his head. Where I'm like, where have you been? Like, how have I been missing you? I feel like everybody has like women have to shave like nipple hair. Like I have to shave the top of my.
Where are you going with this?
Anyway, the grossest part of this movie is not like the 3-inch long chest hair. It is when they are having dinner. And and the dad is explaining, oh yeah, like, well, your assistant principal, and he talks about his like history with them. They're eating full dinner, regular dinner. The dad then takes a long gulp of milk.
It was the 80s, Annabelle. Milk was accepted as a dinner drink back then.
But it's just, I don't understand. Like milk had such a chokehold on it. It's like growing up, like remember those milk ads? Like there were like the Olsen twins with like the little milk.
Yeah, got milk.
It's just like, eating like steak and like mashed potatoes and milk. That to
Okay,
me is
but
the most
well, Annabelle,
disgusting.
I want to remind you, my Bill and Becky Bailey on their first date, they both ordered milk at the restaurant, and
I mean, that's the sweetest, like, I guess, like, Mormon, like, I don't know, sharing a thing of
listen, this
fear.
was before we had the knowledge and the know-how to make milk out of oats or cashews. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't know
Or
soy.
goats.
We didn't know about soy back then. Anyways, so the spring dance is coming up, and he said, and he's trying to ask Pamela, but he's like, I already told you I'm going to the dance with Mick, and blows him a kiss. And I was like, I was even confused. I was like, wait a sec, you are hooking up with Scott. I don't know how Mick would be cool with you. Like you're still going to the dance with Mick instead of Scott. And then we cut to the next game. And at this point, the team is totally checked out. Chubbs is eating on the court. Chubbs is eating a full sub sandwich on the court. Scott's doing all the work. The team isn't loving it. They're in the locker room after the game, and Scott's back to being Scott again, and except that he has a huge, big Teen Wolf dong. The dong is still completely where
He
no,
has a huge red rocket.
sorry. No, we see Scott come out as him, but no one will talk to Scott now in the locker room. None of the team wants to talk to him. And he tells the coach, he's like, I don't get it, coach. What's their problem? And the coach, Annabelle's boyfriend, says,
I
three
love it.
rules I live by. Three rules I live by. I never get less than 12 hours of sleep. I never go near a girl with a dagger on their body. And, you know,
I never
something
play
else.
poker with a man named after a city. And you
Yeah,
stick
never
by
play.
those 3 rules and you're golden. And I'm just
He
like,
goes, no, he goes, you live by that, you're cream cheese. He goes, you
no.
live by those, you're cream cheese. I think it was a great game today, Scott.
I love it. Like, that's why I'm like, Styles is the sexiest character in this movie. Second is the basketball coach. I'm shocked that you have missed one of the like one of the biggest things in this movie that they do for fun, which this was like, I guess, like, can you imagine if like this movie came out like when TikTok was around? Because one of the things they do for fun is they surf on the top of the van.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
drives the van, and the other the other gets on top and starts and pretends to surf while they're driving.
And they play the Beach Boys song. They're like, everybody got surfing, surfing USA, inside, outside USA.
They had just played God Only Knows What I'd Be Without him,
Yes.
playing in the front. But I'm just like, oh my God, this, like, them surfing on like the top of a van. I'm like, I wonder if, like, can you just imagine like Johnny Knoxville and like fucking like the rest
Steve-O.
of like the Jackass and Steve-O just being like, oh man, look at that. Can you imagine if we had a show of just that? But while you're surfing on the top of a van, a little person's hitting you with the thing of baloney. Don't you think I
would love to see the Jackass guys recreate the Teen Wolf surfing scenes in full costume. But anyway, Styles, by the way, Styles is the first one to surf on the van, but then Styles gets a Wolfmobile. He gets a better Wolfmobile, and they take it out for the first time, Styles and Michael J. Fox. And Michael J. Fox is he's like, hey, Styles is about to go up to do the surfing bit again. And then he goes, hey, wait, these waves are mine. And Michael J. Fox is all of a sudden the wolf, and he's on top of the Wolfmobile surfing, and he's doing backflips on the car. And I do want to tell you what's so funny. If you watch this, I just noticed this watching it the last time, was that you can see a cop in the left-hand corner shooing other people away because they're filming on the street. Like they forgot that they have a cop. Like, because by the way, if you were going past the speed limit and you were a wolf on top of a big Wolfmobile doing flips, you get pulled over. So there's like the cop is there in front of the car, and they left that shot in accidentally. But a lot of people were just so taken away by the power of this movie, they didn't notice it. Anyways, we get back home and the dad is doing bills, and Scott comes in as just Scott, not the werewolf. And the dad's like, missed you working at the hardware store the last few days, because they own a hardware store. And he's like, Dad, I'm trying to get a grip on this. I really am. And he's like, listen, the vice principal stuff is my fault. It goes back a few years. Listen, I loved your mom since we were kids. The Thorn loved her too. And one night things got a little physical. And Michael J. Fox is like, and you turned into the werewolf. And he goes, Scott, out of anger. And in front of his beady little eyes, he was so scared that he lost control of his bodily functions. After that, he never bothered you. He never bothered me or your mom again. But to this day, I don't know who was more frightened that night, him or me. You got to get a hold of this, son. So this is the dad saying, you got to get a hold of this werewolf stuff. You're letting it get to your head. Like you got to get a hold of this because it is a great responsibility to be a werewolf. Right?
I mean, I just don't feel like he's doing. I mean, he's trying to do the most for his community. He is trying to be responsible. He's trying to bring, attention to local,
Sports.
the local athletics. And he's doing the best he can. And then all of these haters around him trying to bring him down, trying to have him dull his light, trying to have him dull his moonlight, which they never really explained. Like when he's like, oh, being out in the full moon, the dad was like, don't believe everything you see in the movies.
Yeah, the full moon doesn't mean shit in this one because you can wolf out at any time.
Which is, I thought why we were doing it tonight, why we were recording tonight, was because it was a full moon. So I thought that's you were trying to be on brand for it. But then I realized, I'm like, oh yeah, there's no is it Outback Steakhouse where it's like there's no rules, just right? What's the tagline for? There's something like there's no rules, just right.
Sorry, I don't know the Outback.
Sorry, you don't know.
Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry, the tagline. Well, I know it's not Olive Garden because when you're there, your family, which is also apparently the same slogan for this high school's drama club. But no, there's I know there's no wrong way to be a werewolf. There's no rules with being the werewolf. There's no parameters. You got to figure
it out for yourself. And that's what the dad's trying to tell Scott. Now, he goes out of the house and guess who's there? Boof the stalker again. And
fucking Shadow.
She's like, got any plans for the spring dance? I'm surprised they haven't decided to call it the Teen Wolf Ball. And they're walking and he goes, will you go to the ball with me? Because Pamela won't go. So he must feel like, I guess I got to give you a shot. And she goes, I'll think about it. And then she goes, yes, as long as you take me to the dance. You, Scott Howard, not the wolf. And he goes, no, I gotta be the wolf. That's what everyone expects. Everyone likes the wolf. You said it yourself. If I go with Scott, I'm going to be average. I mean, damn it. Why do I have to be like everyone else? And then Boof goes, well, that's not a problem for you anymore. And I guess I don't have a date for the dance. And then he goes, okay, well, you'll still dance with me, won't you? Even if I am the wolf? And she goes, yeah, I'll still dance with you. And he goes, will you feed me grapes? Tickle my paws? So right here, Scott's like, no, fuck you. I'm going to go as the wolf. Hopefully you'll still save a dance for me, but I'm definitely not going as myself. And then we cut to Staying Alive, the Bee Gees song of ha, ha. And he's getting ready for the dance as the wolf. And he's white suit. He looks all pimp and he's blow drying his hair. And he goes, she's right. You are an animal. And then we go to the dance and he walks in as the wolf, a lot of swagger, and they all see him. All the dance sees him and the music changes immediately. It's like record scratch. And then everybody's like, all right, oh my God, he looks fabulous. And Pamela and Mick, the bully, sees him and he walks by Pamela and he goes, save me a dance. And Mick's like, stay away from her. I'm warning you. And then he sees Boof, who's there just by herself, and everybody's chanting, wolf, 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 wolf. And he walks up to Boof and he goes, you still want to dance with the wolf? And she's like, your public wants you. And he's like, do you mind? And then all of a sudden they do a wolf dance. Everybody in the school does this wolf dance. It seems like it's choreographed. And the song is, you're a big bad wolf. Yo. And everybody's doing the,
it's not as elaborate as the She's All That prom dance, but almost. Yeah. It is very...
Or the Can't Buy Me Love prom dance of where he does the tribal dance.
Yeah, when he looks like he's jerking off a bunch of ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah. But he's so Scott is everybody's doing this is an elevated thriller dance. And everybody's Styles is there with Styles has a shirt that says Wolf Buddy on it. And the principal comes in and sees the dance is going on. And then Boof takes Scott out of the dance. And she goes, what am I going to do with you? And Michael J. Fox is like, Boof, I am what I am. And we see Pamela in the dance tell Mick, I might want to dance with him. And he goes, you can't be serious, Pamela, unless you're planning on having his puppies. Like, like she would get
Oh.
pregnant with wolf puppies, and then back to Boof, and Boof talks to Scott, and she goes, I just want Scott for a half hour. I really missed him. And then they go back to the dance, and now Scott is just normal Scott, and Boof just normal Boof. And I gotta say, I agree. He's a big fucking loser. Like, he looks way cooler as the wolf. And no, I will say, I mean, all joking aside, isn't Michael J. Fox just one of the most charming actors out there? Like,
Yeah.
really, I mean, just in the 80s, especially with Family Ties, this, Back to the Future. I mean, you just root for Michael J. Fox. He just has such, it's just such an amazing, like, there are just certain personalities. He's a great actor, but just his personality is just it just shines through on screen.
He's so charming and so adorable. I mean, like this and like Back to the Future, which I guess came out in the same year. I guess like he was like filming like both of them at the same time.
He did Back to the Future. Like, I guess like they were able to do this because he was on the show called Family Ties, and Meredith Baxter Birney, I guess, was pregnant and they had to like pause like filming, so he was able to go do Teen Wolf. And he did Back to the Future like directly after that. So he was like running ragged. Back to the Future came out before Teen Wolf, though. And Teen Wolf kind of rode that wave of popularity with Back to the Future because it was Michael J. Fox from the #1 movie, Back to the Future.
He's so adorable and likable, and it's like the same like fondness like that you have for like uh uh Matthew Broderick in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then you see like Matthew Broderick today, and like what a he's so like so at least like Michael J. Fox, like I loved him in Curb, like his thing with like Larry David and how like they're like nemesis. Like he's just so fucking likable, and yeah, it's just like he's just so infinitely better than Boof, even at his dorkiest and lowest. Which I still think it's still, and also all I could think of, like Boof is like a mix of like looks wise, she looks so much like young Kris Jenner. Like I was waiting for her to like burst out into I love my friends, but she doesn't have any friends. It's just like one Scott. It's just I love my stuff. She's like a mix of like early Kris Jenner, like Selma Blair, like but she like sounds.
But you're saying like, she's the loser version of that.
Yes. So, but like, yes, just like aesthetically, like that's what her face looks like. But and like her voice, she sounds like, oh, who's another one of my nemesis? Who's the fucking useless redhead from American Pie and like How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, the one that was just on Dancing with the Stars, Allison Hannigan.
Yes. Another one of my nemesis who I had a personal thing with.
You have like weird things with like people that don't deserve it. Like Allison Hannigan has done nothing.
I didn't deserve what she did to me. So
what did she do to you?
It's another entire podcast.
Wait, are you for real? You really do actually have real beef with Allison Hannigan?
I just think she's an asshole. And
wait, are you joking? Are you for real?
No, I'm serious. Like we have
Allison Hannigan on the set of How I Met Your Mother was like, "Here comes a grenade. Dig her out." Well, we're going to save that story for another time because that seems potentially fascinating.
Yeah,
for real.
It's awful. Wish there was like a line on Dancing with the Stars where you could vote against people because I would have voted against her every.
Well, you can can vote for somebody else. That would have.
Well, actually, as I was saying, I'm like, oh, I guess I could just vote for her. I wish there was a way to vote for other people.
By the way, there's a lot of political things that Annabelle hasn't voted in because she didn't like the person, thinking that she was going to take a vote away. Anyways, they're dancing, Michael J. Fox and Boof, and all of a sudden, they're just dancing normal, and Mick, the bully, sees him as Scott and walks over and hits Scott right in the kisser. And she goes, "Stay away from her. She's mine. Be with your own kind, like this little tramp," to Boof. And he wolfs out. Michael wolfs out immediately and like goes, "Ah," and tears the shirt off him and growls. And everybody's laughing. And Pamela's like, "You're just some sort of animal." And he realizes he pushed it. He lost control. And he runs out. And the principal is there. And he's like, "I got you now. I got you now, Scott." And Scott's upset. And he goes, "Now you've done it. You don't know how long I've wanted to get you right where I have you. You're never going to play basketball again. You know why? Because you're not going to be here anymore. You're out of here, Scott Howard." And then the dad pops up and he's like, "Thorne." And he sees, and the dad's there and he goes, "Go home, son. Go ahead. I'll handle this." And Scott leaves. And he goes, "You never learn, do you, Rusty?" And the principal's like, "Stay away from me." He's like, "I want you to leave my son alone. He's a good kid, just having a tough time right now." And he growls. And then Thorne pisses himself. He's so scared again. He pisses himself.
He was like Fergie on stage. He just
he was at sea. I rock the mic on Black Eyed Peas. I don't want to go to the bathroom. I'll do it on stage.
His dad was there just at the dance, like waiting, because he was just like, when he turns Boof down, Boof's gonna be single for a dance, and I'm just gonna be here open for her.
No, he's a good dad. He knew that he was having a hard time. He wanted to protect his son. It's not anything creepy.
No,
I mean, it might have been.
He also felt bad for Boof. He's also like, son, she's pretty sad, so I'll step in for you.
So we cut.
I'm just saying that I just also, that is like an unfair insult, very much like the I shot your head off comment of like, just like this little tramp. She doesn't even have anyone to tramp around with. All she's doing is following around fucking Michael J. Fox. She's not tramping out with anyone. If anything, he should have been like in this.
Yeah, so you think it's an unfair thing to say because she's definitely not a tramp. She's just a stalker.
Yeah.
So he should have been like this little stalker over here.
Exactly.
Okay, good. That's a good clarification.
I know. It hits like a feather. It's great.
So the next day, they're now back to school, and Scott is at rehearsal again, and he comes out in the Southern outfit, the Southern uniform, but he comes out as just Scott. And the director's like, no, we need the wolf. We need the wolf. And he's like, sorry, it's all I have. He's like, then we don't need you. And he's like, fine. And Scott leaves. And then he talks to Styles. And Boof says, because I guess he quit the basketball team, you guys. And Boof is like, do you have to quit the basketball team? And he's like, they want the wolf. I can't give it to him. And Styles is like, what are you talking about? He's like, I can't do it anymore. You saw the other night at the dance. And they're like, you have the championship game in 4 hours. Do it for me, Styles says. I have a very large investment. Do the right thing. And Michael J. Fox is like, it's all I want to do, Styles. It's all I want to do is the right thing. We cut to the game. Michael J. Fox is not there. Beavers are 3, the other team 22. And Mick is playing the bully. And he's playing dirty. He's tripping players. Now Scott walks in as Scott in uniform, just as normal Scott, not the wolf. And there's silence. There's a full crowd silence. And Styles sees him and he's like, oh man, he's just Scott. The dad's there. Boof is there. And Mick sees him and laughs like, Scott, And the coach goes to him and the coach is like, where's the wolf? And he goes, not today, coach. No wolf. And,
if I were in the audience of this, if I was like, literally, if I was in the stands and I saw him come out, I'd be like, what the fuck? I got a wolf t-shirt for this.
Yes, everybody wants to see the wolf.
High school basketball. I bought merch for this.
But you don't understand. You don't understand.
Boom.
He's finally learned to be a real person. He's doing the work. He's learning to be himself. And
you need to take your Hannah Montana like bullshit. Like, I don't know, like the people came, like give the people what they came to see. Like, you need to learn these lessons, while you're at home.
And, okay, so anyways, Annabelle is one of the haters, like a lot of the people in the crowd at this movie. And the coach is like, okay, yeah, wait till the second half to turn in the wolf. And he goes, not today, coach. No wolf, not ever. Not ever. And he goes, I want to play, but I want to play as myself. And the coach is like, okay, but we're going to get our brains beat in. And then Scott comes up to the rest of the guys. And he's like, I think we can take these guys. And the team is like, where's the wolf? And he's like, no, I mean it, Chubbs. If we're going to win, we have to pull it off ourselves. We don't need the wolf. And the game starts again. And Mick is like, you're dead. You're dead, punk. And Michael J. Fox gets the ball and he passes it to Chubbs. And everybody's like, shoot it, shoot it. And Chubbs shoots. And guess what? Well, no, Mick goes, shoot it, fat boy. And then Chubbs finally shoots it. And guess what? He gets the shot. So now it's like game on. Now it's like
becomes Space Jam. Now it's on.
It's like the montage music comes on. It's a real game. Michael J. Fox starts playing good as just normal Scott. And more importantly, they start playing together as a team. They're passing the ball. They're doing team things. And all of a sudden it's like from 2 and now it's 12-35. They're slowly making their way up. And steals are happening. Michael J. Fox, it's all of a sudden 25-36. Chubbs does a hook shot. Michael hops and puts the ball back in. And
it's a very long basketball scene.
It's a very long, but I loved it. How dare. Okay, so anyways, Mick is like fouling right and left. and he does something, and Scott laughs, and Mick's like, "What's so funny, dork?" And Scott's like, "That's 4 fouls, 1 more, and you're out of there, Mick."
I would have
I
been
guess
like, I'm laughing at your crow's feet, old man. Like, he's so
I guess you can have 5 fouls before you're out in a basketball game. So all of a sudden we see the scoreboard. It's like 35-44, 44-51, 48-51, and then it's 50-51. And it's the last charge. And Mick is there. He's like, "Come on, punk, make your move." And Michael J. Fox charges with the ball, and Mick fouls him hard. Everyone is pissed. Mick stands over him, and like Michael J. Fox gets 2 shots, 2 foul shots, and it's almost tied. And by the way, he's now fouled out of the game, yet in the movie, Mick stands right in front of him during the foul shots, which is not, I don't think, legal. I'm not a sports guy, but Scott makes the first one, you guys. And now it's tied. And then we have 1 more shot. Okay? I don't even know if you know where this is headed. Michael J. Fox is sweating more than I've ever seen him sweat before. He is sweating so hard right now. And he shoots, and he misses, and they lose. But he shoots and he scores it. He scores the winning, and they won, you guys. They won. Annabelle, why are you not excited? They won.
But the audience lost. The crowd lost.
Okay. So this is the other big thing. Everybody's like rushing now. Like everybody's like freaking out. Like, oh, the music comes on, which we're going to talk about the music in 1 second because it's very important to me. All of a sudden, Pamela, the blonde hair, she comes up to Michael J. Fox like, "Hey, you won the game. Maybe I like Scott." And Michael J. Fox blows right past him, right past her, and goes and kisses Boof, and then hugs his dad.
Also, I feel like he's like, "I already fucked you, so I'm good. Thanks. Get out of the way," and keeps moving.
Well, yeah, he's like, yeah. Well, okay, so that is the end of this movie, but the thing that is very important for me is there is this song that they end the movie with that is so, this song, even as a kid, when I heard it, I thought it was the saddest song I'd ever heard. It makes me cry every time I hear it. And we're going to listen to it together right now to close out this episode here. And it's called "Shooting for the Moon" by Amy Holland. Okay, here we go. Just imagine this.
Funny how sometimes life just changes overnight.
Yeah.
Magically,
life changes overnight.
We do turns out so right. Just like that, you pull rabbits out of your hat.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Isn't this beautiful? You can talk.
Like a charm
No, I don't want to.
wizards can't explain.
You have a charm lizards can't explain.
Make rainbows from a single drop of rain.
How you make rainbows from a single drop of rain.
It's a trick you learn how to play. When you're shooting for the moon and finally make it, there's a lucky star shining on you.
Isn't this sad?
Isn't this sad? It's yours, so take it. Make another wish, it's sure to come true. Isn't that the way you do it? Tell me I can do it too.
And then the image like gets all stuttery, and it's like,
It just sounds so much like the version of like when you got caught between the moon and New York City from Arthur.
yes.
Like, which is obviously a farce character. But
Wait. Oh, it's so good. It's like, isn't this so sad? It makes me so sad. Look at it.
it's really sad.
I don't know if it's a flute, but it's like beautiful.
No, I feel like this is very much.
It's like a trumpet. Is it a trumpet? Imagine 5th grade Ryan watching this. I was just bawling. I was bawling.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And every time I hear this, it gets me right back in that. Oh, it's so beautiful. Here we go. Big chorus. And we're shooting for the moon and finally make it.
The candle on the cake is yours, so take it. Make another wish, it's sure to come true. Isn't that the way you do it? Tell me I can do it.
Isn't that the way you do it? Tell me I can do it too. Isn't that so? And then I know it's like stupid, but I think that's like the best song I've ever heard.
Oh.
So wait, the lyrics, you guys. And then when I looked at the lyrics, I was like, when you're shooting for the moon and finally make it, guess a lucky star is shining on you. The candle on the cake is yours, so take it. Make another wish. It's sure to come true. Isn't that the way you do it? Tell me I can do it too. I mean, it's beautiful lyrics. That's like Bob Dylan.
Okay, well, that's better than Bob Dylan because I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to go off on Bob Dylan, but you know how I feel. No,
so that was Teen Wolf, you guys. That was Teen Wolf, and that. So you thought it was too sports heavy, where I thought it was perfect. And I thought the message was so good about learning to be yourself, learning to be yourself.
There was too much sports ball. I liked the movie. I liked the movie. It was a lot of sports ball. I think also maybe it's my jealousy of like I was called Annabelle all through middle school. And like harassed for being like hairy and like gross and looking like a man. And it's like I said, I couldn't ride the bus anymore. So I guess it's just like my envy of being like, oh, people weren't like, throwing stuff at him and yelling at him like he was like the Elephant Man. So it's like I'm happy for him. I mean, I'm sad for Boof. But it's like,
why are you sad for Boof? She gets kissed at the end.
Oh yeah, she gets her pity kiss.
She got her guy.
Yeah, I feel like he was like an animal. Like when an animal has been chased so long and it's just like in a corner. It accepts like its defeat. It accepts its death of like I gave a good I am like I am accepting my fate. He's just like this is it. This is all right.
So Scott, so you're saying kind of like Boof is one of the people that kind of like convinced him to not be the wolf, when in reality he would have potentially had a much better life as the wolf.
Because she's trying to she's trying to shut off his light. She's trying to dim his light,
yeah,
so that she can get him all to herself again. Because like when he's
evil, she's evil
and friend and like getting friends and feeling good about himself, she's like, oh no, you can't feel too good about yourself. I need you with like desperately low self-esteem like me, because like I can't like because it's just so honestly, I feel like she is the true villain of this movie. And it's not,
I was going to go with Mick or the principal, but you're going with the girlfriend Boof that encouraged him to be himself.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Because
that adds up.
Yeah, I think she was just super jealous and she didn't want him to thrive. She wanted to keep him down like to like her level.
I wonder what happened to Scott after this. Like, I wonder if Scott like did really have like a big loser life.
I know. I'm sure she if he ever did turn into the wolf again, I'm sure she like latched him to a fucking collar and like kept him in the basement. So like he could never like I think she miseried him. I think wow.
You think she Kathy Bates? You think she went postal?
I think she went. I literally was about to say. I think she went postal on him. Because now I know what that means. I'm just Ryan. I am not the. I think
Annabelle, I really honestly thought you would love this. I thought you would flip out over this film.
I love the non-Boof parts, like the Boof.
Like you're so hard to predict with what you actually respond to, because it's not out and out good films. That doesn't do it for you. Like, I mean, like if I really want to fuck with Annabelle, I'd make her watch Oppenheimer or something like that.
Oh God.
Could you have? I mean,
I'm not making a joke when I say this. Isn't there like something like? Does that guy like? Was he like castrated or something, or like did something like happen with like the radiation? Like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Like,
what?
Or was it just like a joke tweet I saw? I couldn't tell like that something like happened with his like genitals because of the like radiation or something. Or
I don't know I don't know how deep you're going on Twitter. Oh, is this an Elon Musk tweet? Is that what you're?
My favorite account, Breitbart, tweeted it, so I believe everything they say.
I'm not sure. By the way, I'm not sure if that's actually true or not, but it's not in the movie. If it did do something with his genitals, it's not in the movie.
Oh my God! This isn't exciting to anybody, and it's not like it's one of my coworkers, her like husband had to have his ball removed, like, and it happened like over the course of a weekend because it got like injured or something. Sorry, we just on the topic
are we
of-
doing like a GoFundMe or something? Like
it already happened. No, it's already gone. And I told her, I was like, she should put like, if they were gonna put it in like a little jar or something, or like have it like welded into gold or something. And she's just like, no, we're just taking it, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just thought that was
that is really good. Well, I don't think we can get better than that, you guys.
I'm sorry.
Listen, Annabelle, we're gonna do another film, and we'll do this for Annabelle's podcast. So Annabelle will be in charge of this film that we'll do in the next month. Do you have any ideas of a film that you want to do to recap?
To make you watch?
Yeah.
Oh no, but I do have a dream of what I want you to do. So apparently, Jamie Kennedy does Jeff Lewis's like after show.
Yes,
sometimes.
he does. Yes.
I really want like
I've not met him yet.
I really want you to do something with Jamie Kennedy, just so like I just in my heart it would just make me
wait.
So
wait. If I no, honestly though, if I did bump into Jamie Kennedy and I said, "Hey, I'm friends with Annabelle Desisto," would he know what I was talking about?
Probably not. No, absolutely not. But remember me and you.
Remember I made you text him? I made you text because Jamie Kennedy, I guess, is like packing like major heat down there.
Yeah, like Liam Neeson level, like Lenny Kravitz level, like a horse cop.
John Hamm in gray sweatpants kind of level.
Yeah, is like a baby arm holding an apple, like alarming. Yeah, like just almost like he's an animal.
They should have made that a part of his character in Scream. Like he was the nerd that worked at a video store, but there was a rumor that he had a huge hog. They're like,
it's just like when you worked at the movie.
No, it's definitely not when I worked at the movie theater. Okay, so Annabelle, you don't know what next movie you want to do?
No, do you have any ideas? I'll do anything.
No, I mean, it's your time to pick.
I sound like Boof. I'm like, I'll do anything.
It's your chance to pick. Your choice, your turn to pick. Sorry, you guys. It's been a long day. Your turn to pick.
Oh, this is going to be so...
Well, you know what, you guys, let us know in the comments to anything. Email us. Let us know if you, or let us know if you, by the way,
Son of Sam. I had to do it. I had to do that.
No, Son of Sam is a Spike Lee film that's pretty intense.
I had to do that scene for an acting class. And I was just like, why do you hate me? And just another fun, happy fact. You know who made me do this scene? Carter Thor, which people would be like, what is that name?
Oh, the acting teacher that got
Jurassic Park, as everybody does. One of the best movies of all time. You know, the guy at the beginning of the movie that Newman, who postal worker
from Seinfeld,
is talking to and making the deal with. It's that guy. That was my acting. I went to like take acting classes at his like theater school or whatever, and that was like one of the scenes I was assigned was a scene, like a very graphic scene from Son of Sam, which is about. No, it's not David Berkowitz. Is it Berkowitz? Was that the?
Yeah, Berkowitz. Yeah, Son of Sam.
Yeah, he's like the killer who like was listening. He thought he could hear like a dog. He thought like the dog was.
Yeah, dog was talking to him and giving him messages.
David Berkowitz didn't use my animal communicator because he was not getting me.
All 10 of Annabelle's cats talk to her all the time, but not murder things, like nice things.
And then one day I was like, oh, he's like, why is like class postponed? Like, oh, we don't like class was canceled again. And it turns out he was arrested and jailed for relationship
underage
porn with a minor. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't get my notes on my acting scene.
Well, and also, Annabelle, I'm glad at the very end you've tied it back into Paula Poundstone in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
Truly amazing. You guys,
like Pocahontas, the movie, we're all in a circle.
My voice is thrashed right now, so we are going to call it here. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the audience, Annabelle?
No, I really, I'm so grateful for you guys listening. I realized this was incredibly unhinged. I'm very rusty.
No, it's the same way as it always is. It's always.
But I hope that you enjoyed this. And Ryan, thank you so much for letting me do
Happy
it.
New Year, Annabelle. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year 2024. It's all coming up, Annabelle.
It's all happening, as Sheena Shea says.
Exactly. It's all happening.
We love you, Annabelle.
It's been a really good year. It's been a great year.
Okay.
I got on Wegovy. It's been a great year.
Jesus.
I did. I lost 50 pounds. It's been a good year.
You've got to, well, now you have to come back on because I need to hear the Allison Hannigan. I need to hear more about Wegovy. I mean, there is a treasure. We probably don't really even have to do a movie. We could just literally
honestly,
hear
if
stories
we
about
just went
Annabelle.
through the list of actors and reality stars that I have beefs with, I could have an entire podcast series of just
which, by the way,
material.
you do have a podcast. It's called Adderall and Compliments. She has a treasure trove of past episodes that you can check out. Make sure you do. A lot of our episodes are on there with other movies that we have recapped in the past. And go check it out. Rated 5 stars.
Our Twilight movies are so fun, and
the Twilight movies really were the high points. People still will tell me that they still will go back and listen to those Twilight ones.
Because that's like what started. Well, not what started, but your Instagram stories of you watching Twilight is truly like, one of my favorite directors of all time, Randall Emmett's BF, Martin Scorsese. It's true cinema art of your Instagram stories.
Yeah, those are saved in my highlights. I've not watched them in a long time, but because I watched one of the Twilights, I remember like the third, or maybe it was the last one. I remember it was like 3 Christmases ago, and I had COVID, and I was watching it, and I said, "Oh no, it was the one where they got married, and Edward had sex with Bella and like broke the whole house.
Their bed broke.
Broke. Yeah, and like because he's like, where like, and she's like,
he's like Jamie Kennedy. It's just,
but most normal girls,
I did not have
normal girls.
Jamie Kennedy.
No, I know you did, but most normal girls.
I just blew him, which I do believe is one of the main contributors of my severe TMJ.
Anyways, back to Twilight. Most normal girls aren't like there. If you can't have sex with a vampire, you'll die. But Bella is so special that she is able to have sex with him before she's a full vampire. Isn't that amazing?
I mean, what she lacks in personality, she makes up for in Golden Badge.
Kristen Stewart has a little bit of a boof thing, if you think about it.
She does. That is a very like,
Edward, like I still to this day, I still find it like what did Edward see in Bella? Like I just don't get it. Like it was so I mean she's awesome, but she's not like all that. Like
she's the worst.
But I'm saying I'm just saying like
she's the worst.
But why couldn't you like Edward, like wait another 100 years, see what else comes out on the horizon?
For hundreds of years. This bitch, this girl from Arizona who shows up in Seattle with like holding like a little cactus, like I just know who all she can do is like shrug her shoulders and tremble like she's like a cold chihuahua. That's the best one you found. I mean, the best thing about Bella is her dad, Charlie. Now, Charlie is the character I would have loved to see a spinoff of. Bella's dad, Bella's DILF, the functioning alcoholic sheriff is my favorite part of Twilight.
So go and listen to our Twilight recaps. We recap every one of those movies. And Annabelle, we will talk to you in the next month.
I love you. Thank you so much for letting me do
I love you.
Bye, bye.